Everyone's trying to save their first 10K. And honestly, most people don't even realize that this is where the first trap can actually begin. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how your first 10K can actually have you trapped and stuck, and what you can do to make sure that you are not trapped and start building wealth the correct way. Let's get it. So first, what is the 10K trap? The 10K trap is where you reach this amount and all of a sudden you feel safe. You have no desire to start growing. This was your pinnacle. This was your ultimate goal, and you reached it. And now it's like, hey, you know what? I'm good. I don't need to do anything more. I can relax and let my guard down. Another way people fall in this money trap is when they stop learning and growing. The whole point that you were trying to get here, you read investment books, you read saving books, you worked extra jobs, you started side hustles, extra income, etc. You did all of this to grow this, and then once you saw that 10, 000, you relaxed. You didn't go as hard. You started switching up your habits and your daily routines. This is part of the trap. Some people may blow the 10K, and honestly, some people may hoard the 10K. And I know you're thinking, well, hey, Marcus, if they're hoarding the 10K, that's better than blowing it. And hey, in some instances, that may be correct. But this 10K can put you in a way better position by helping you build wealth. So even if you aren't putting that money to good use, you're still technically wasting it. So you're trapped in this survival mode because now you don't know what to do. If you blew it, then now it's like, oh man, I'm right back living the paycheck to paycheck. And if you're hoarding it, well, now you're scared to invest it properly so that it can grow to become more. So now you're just stuck. Either way, you're stuck in a rat race, in a cycle that you don't want to be in. We want to start making sure we're building wealth properly here. All I'm saying is 10K saved is not freedom, but it is the start of discipline, as long as you're using it the right way. So then let's talk about the second part of things, and that's going to be the psychology behind it all. Some people end up developing a scarcity mindset. So they're scared to touch it. That's the mentality that most people are going to have. They're scared to touch this money because they don't want to lose it. And understandably so, but what was the point of you reading these books, watching these YouTube channels and TikToks and soaking up all this information and practicing these habits if you weren't going to try to multiply it? See, that's the mindset that you should be having here. Okay, now I have 10. How can I turn this 10 into 20? How can I turn that 20 into 40? But you will never get to that mindset if you're stuck on the scarcity mindset. This money has to be put to good use. It has to. And you can't save your way to wealth, right? And I'm not sitting up here telling you to crash out and go invest in the next meme coin or crypto coin or anything like that. But proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. You should have been, and probably have been, trying to prepare yourself for this day that you have the 10K. And now that it's there, hey, let's go ahead and make some use of it and make it grow. And look, I know people who are just savers, and there's nothing that I could say to them that's going to make them change their mind. But what I will say is that even if you are saving that money properly, and properly by meaning in a high yield savings account, because if you just have it in a regular savings account, you're still not winning there. In a high yield savings account, you can get between 4 to 5%, and sometimes, in some cases, up to 10%. You have to look around. Yes, that is a way to grow your money, but also you have investing, which you have, in some cases, the S&P 500 is giving you average returns of about 10% over the course of the last 30 years. That right there, you can't beat. And if you're still worried about it, you have ways that you can go ahead and do dollar cost averaging. All this is where you go ahead and invest into a stock or a fund consistently, whether it's every week, every 2 weeks, every month, the same amount, same time. And it doesn't matter whether the stock is up or down, because we know that building long-term wealth, hey, over the long term, it will trend up. We don't worry about the day-to-day. But if you don't have that mindset and you're just a saver, then you're going to miss out on exponential gains, because you're going to have some years where you're going to be up 17, maybe 22%, sometimes 30, right? You don't want to have to worry about that. I will say this. You should understand the cost of stopping at 10K. Most importantly, inflation is on a consistent rise. That is going to eat away at your money. Honestly, you should be investing your money because you are trying to beat the rate of inflation. If inflation is making your dollar value drop, then you're supposed to be putting your dollars into something that can make them increase, so that way you can beat the percentage of inflation for that year. It's just that simple. So if you aren't investing and you just stop at the 10K, then the thing is you're actually losing money. And I know you will see the 10,000 in your account, but please understand, inflation goes up every year. We all know that you can't stop and get a Happy Meal for the same cost. The dollar menu at McDonald's, that's long gone. Like, that's stuff that we grew up on to where you cannot actually get anymore because of the cost of inflation, the rise of it. We may go work hard for this money, but then in return, we have to make this money work hard for us. We don't want to be like the people that we know that are having to work forever just because of the fact that they didn't put this money to good use. You see examples of this time and time again. Don't turn into another example of that. Also, when it comes to stopping at the 10K, you don't want to miss your investment window. You want to be able to have opportunity to put that money in good places, possibly good businesses, ventures, whatever it is that you approach. Over the course of our life, if you're putting yourself around people, there are going to be opportunities that come up for you to get in on good ideas and good businesses. All I'm saying is you want to be able to have capital to put in on that. So if you're just stopping at the 10K, well, that could be gone in an instant. You could have a radiator issue, an engine issue, flat tires, kids need a new car because maybe it got totaled or something like that. New roofing, new plumbing, HVAC, all that. There are so many expensive costs out there to where, hey, that 10K can get eaten up like that. And it took you a while to save it. You don't want to stop growing that money just because you've reached this goal number. We have to expand our minds and set the bar even higher, right? Like, think of it as a thermometer. You have different notches as you keep going up. And yes, 10K should be on the notch. It should be somewhere on there, but it shouldn't be the ultimate bar, right? This is a confidence booster when you get there. Celebrate your small wins, right? I'm sitting up here, I'm not telling you that you can't be happy about this. But then it's like, hey, 24 to 48 hours, boom, we are back at it. We're back focused because we didn't work this hard to get here and stop. We didn't work this hard to get here and blow it. We didn't work this hard to get here and not multiply the money, right? Because we're trying to build long-term wealth. Now check this out. 10K saved versus 10K invested at a 10% interest rate over 10 years is a matter of more than $26,000 that you will have missed out on. That's what I'm telling you. We have to make sure we're putting this money to good use. And with that being said, we should get to the next step. What are we actually going to do with the 10K? All right, first, I'm going to tell you always, make sure you're having a high yield savings account where you're going to have your emergency fund. Look, $2,000 should be thrown into there, okay, automatically. And this will be for any type of medical expenses, emergency bills, flat tires, oil changes, just things like that. Things that come up on a day-to-day that you will feel a breath of fresh air to go ahead and get started. Then next, you're going to have your investing. Now, I'm going to say go ahead and just do 5K with that, right? That is 50% of your 10K. But 50% of your 10K, you are putting hard to work for you. And you're just going to keep it simple. You can do some ETFs. Now, look, I'm not a financial advisor, and so you should do your own research whenever you are trying to invest and consult a legal professional, okay? I'm just letting you know that ETFs are baskets of stocks that are simple, and you don't have to worry about whether one stock is doing great or one stock isn't because it affects your portfolio. In this case, you can go ahead and just invest into some ETFs such as SCHD, VLO, VUG, VTI. I mean, there are a plethora of ETFs, and they're all for different sectors too. You can do broad-based, or you can go more specific. You can go into AI, you can go into semiconductor, you can go into digital media, you can go into quantum computing. There's tons of it. Figure out the one you want, make it simple, and just persistently invest. Next, I'm going to have you take $1,000 to $2,000 and go ahead and put that into something that is skill building. At this point in time, yes, you have a job, hopefully, and you are trying to work outside of that. You need to bring in some money that is outside of that and you can run on your own terms. So if you can learn how to, video edit, copyright, maybe think of some things that, you're good at, that you can go ahead and hone in and maybe get some specialized certifications, you know, that are within that cost frame that will go ahead and lead you to more sources of revenue, whether it's to upgrading your job, whether it's to start some side income, doing some work on Fiverr or Upwork or things like that. But, you know, we should be always trying to obtain more skills, because the more skills we have, the more valuable we are, and the more that we don't need anybody else, right? You want to be able to become, you know, self-sufficient here. So if you're kind of like a jack of all trades, that's a winner in these situations. And then lastly, I'm just going to tell you, take $1,000 and start a side business. Like I said, you're probably skilled in something that you don't even know, right? Maybe you go ahead and you buy some cleaning material and you start, you know, cleaning people's homes. You can door knock in your neighborhood and just say, hey, you know, maybe the first couple of people you'll do free if they'll leave reviews for you and promote you on their Facebooks and things like that. Maybe you go to some Goodwills or some thrift shops, right? Salvation Army, things like that. You can go ahead and find different items that are still of value that most people would need, you know, buy them low and get on Craigslist or get on Facebook Marketplace or get on Etsy or eBay and resell these items for, you know, maybe 100, 200, 300% markup. Like, these are ways that you can go ahead and start bringing in extra money, so you're making sure that 10K is growing. So you have the 2,000 that's in a high yield savings account that's growing. Like I say, the high yield savings account on average is between 4 to 5% and can even get up to 10% in some cases. Make sure you do that research. Then you have 5,000 that you have invested into some ETFs that consistently go up over time. And these are great, safe picks that you're not sitting up here stressing about. That's going up. Then you have 1,000 to 2,000 that you put in towards skill building, which those skills will help either increase your job income or can increase some side income. So that's going up. And then you started a side business to where, hey, you are becoming a capitalist and you are creating your own avenue and your way to success and a better life with long-term wealth. You'd be surprised. A lot of people's businesses, they actually start off as side hustles and side gigs, and they just start to blow up. And before you know it, that is making more money than they could ever imagine. But you have to get started, and you have to believe that you can get started. Most importantly, all I'm saying is you're putting this 10K to work. Different ways, different avenues. It's just like investing. You're broad with it. You're diversified. So you have that money doing 4 different things for you. You're going to win. Keep up the habits. Keep it going. You won't lose. So now we've made it to the end. You understand that, hey, that 10K is not necessarily a trophy, but it's more so a seed that you can plant and grow more trees, money trees to be exact. So that way you can go ahead and grow that 10K to an even larger amount over time. We're building long-term wealth here, and you have to make sure that you're staying consistent with these habits and developing your mindset to always be on go mode. Always take advantage of opportunities and you're moving smart. Look, if you enjoyed videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that way you can get notified of videos like this. I post every Tuesday and Friday, and I cover topics such as investing, budgeting, and mindset. Until next time, I'm your host, Marcus. You're here on Zero to Wealth, and I'll see you in that next episode. Peace.